I'm going to assume that we're going to talk about some Marvel since you got your Marvel gear on. Fair enough. I got on Batman gear, and it has nothing to do about anything that we're going to discuss today. It just felt right, and it was it was camouflage. It's Veterans Week.
Reveal post-credit scenes as part of the trailer footage. That's a trick saved for Sony. However, if that's not the case and this isn't post-credit scene footage, that means that they're going to end up going to that timeline and during the film, and it might actually play a much larger part of the plot rather than shoehorned in at the end or.
I'm not sure what's happening there.
Well, you got to think
Let's
about
go.
it though.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host Dave.
Yes, sir.
And you already know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. As always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Hot Seed Podcast. It's episode 130. We're climbing our way up there, man. Yeah, we getting on up here, man. It's gonna be a fun night tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the topics we got ready for you, man. But that being the case, welcome, my brethren. How you doing? How you feeling?
Well, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good out here. About to go away on a business trip that I'll be able to really announce to y'all in the upcoming weeks. But I'm pretty excited where things are going. So ending the year right. And in my 2024 mindset. So ready to rock.
I like it. It's so crazy, man, because it feels like the year passed by so fast, man. Like it just blew by us. Like all of a sudden we're talking about end of 2023 going into 2024. Hopefully everybody who has been operating in 2023, you have something bigger and better, on the horizon for the coming year. But yeah, it did go by. I feel like we just jumped into this year, and it's like we're almost at the end of it already. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Nah, I mean, when your mind is just caught up in just a couple of things that are going on around the world, and your days are going so fast, we're so strung on the news-driven cycle, and economy this and rates, and especially in my world of real estate, the days just fly because it's the same old until you see a change.
Right.
And I'll speak about more on that during the real estate corner. But yeah, man, it's one of those things that, damned if you do, damned if you don't. People are scared to really jump out there and make a change because they don't know what that change is gonna bring. They're like, oh, let me just try to stay stable, but stable ain't stable. Comfortable ain't comfortable no more.
Michael Jackson said, make that change. That's what he said. First and foremost, we are making a change. The weather's making a change. And with that comes, shout out to these guys. They are not an official sponsor of ours, but if they want to, we will gladly accept it. But it's the new Samuel Adams, not even new. It's the traditional Samuel Adams winter lager. I'm on it. It's already, the temperature has been all over the place.
I was about to say, wait a minute though.
Yeah.
I believe it's supposed to be pushing damn is mid-70s, upper 70s tomorrow.
Yeah, but the beginning of this week, that shit said 48. I'm like, oh no, sir. Oh no.
I'm going, that's the high.
I think 58 is going to be the high tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting and fun, man. I'm having a good time. My week has been fun this week. If you guys have watched Football Talk, you saw that I was talking about my daughter who flew in, surprised me on Saturday night. This past Saturday night. And today, for the timestamp, today is November 7th, Tuesday night at around 9 p.m. So she came in this past Saturday night, and we've been hanging out and just doing the things that dads and daughters do. Nothing. She's here. She's been lounging on the chase. She's on leave right now, doing all the things that I enjoyed her doing. Teenage stuff. She's all but a cool 20 years old, but she's still she's still her regular self, man. You know, smart as hell. But it's been pretty cool. I will say this though. So today, so I'm tomorrow's trash day. You know, we do trash days on Wednesdays. So okay. So I go grab the trash out of the trash can and I out, walk out the front door, walk down the stairs, and I go around, I got the driveway here, and I walk. So my back driveway is beyond the fence where the studio is. It goes down there, and I see an animal. It's a goddamn fox. He saw me. I saw him. We both stopped. We're looking at each other. Sean backed the hell up with the trash bag still in his hand, walked back into the house. So I go back in the house, like, yeah, it's a fox in the back on the drive, like sitting in the driveway by the basketball hoop. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what my basketball hoop is. He's sitting there, not moving. I wasn't going to ask any questions. I just walked back into the house and told him,
yeah, that trash don't need to go out at night. We'll get that at the same time. No. I'll wake up early.
Yeah, he's a good size. And so I finally my daughter was like, "Oh, I want to see the fox too." All right. So we both walk outside and we look. We got the front. I put it in the trash can, but then we go out back and I go down the patio. And I know why the fox is coming to around my house. Because when you have great grass, like I do, if you guys been listening to the show, you tend to attract other animals like rabbits. And I think at one point, we might have talked about it at your house, too, rabbits. Mm-hmm. We get rabbits. They just lay out onto the grass. Yo, these are some huge Baltimore rabbits. So I walk out there and the rabbit is literally out in the grass. So I know why the fox is here. He ain't worried about me. His ass is trying to, he's trying to get a Thanksgiving meal. So
you were about to ruin his whole jump.
Yeah, so but the rabbit was out there. He hopped off, but I have to be careful because I have Benny. So he's my 11-pound, roughly Chiweenie. So half Dotson, half rabbit Chihuahua. Size. Yeah, yep, as he is. So now, mind you, he don't take no shit from nobody. But I don't know if he's going to be to compete against that fox who's looking for something. So yeah, so right now I'm out in the studio now. So I'm hoping that same fox ain't out there when I walk out these doors later after this. But yeah, that's what I walked into today.
So you saying you ran to the studio? That's what you saying,
bro? Look, the spotlight is on, the patio lights on. You know, he's probably more scared of me than I am scared of him. And I wasn't necessarily scared, but I just don't want to walk into no situation where he's rabid or
they go into defense mode.
Yeah, I'm like, but he was and it was a good distance, bro. It was a good distance. When I say I saw him and he stopped and we both looked at each other, he sat down. I was like, oh hell no, I'm not doing this right now. No.
Hey, at least you saw him.
Yeah, because that would have been a problem.
There's plenty of places back there. You walking back there that if he was in any of those corners, you wouldn't have seen him. You would just kept on with your.
And I'm like, we are licensed firearm holders. I ain't gonna tell you right now, Peter. Hey, forgive me, but hey, if it came down to it, somebody's got to go, and it's not gonna be me. I'm just saying. Anyway, this is the Hot Seed Podcast with your boy Sean and Dave, man. Episode 130. Title: Viral Infection. So be prepared of where we go with this. Let's jump right into the first thing that you guys may or may not have seen. So if you guys are familiar with the rapper D1, he is a hip hop artist from New Orleans. I have been following his music for quite some time, and I guess he would categorize himself as maybe as a Christian rapper, I guess. But don't let that fool you because D1 has worked with the likes of Manny Fresh, Big Crit, Lil Wayne, The Game, everybody. And if you follow D1, man, you know, he was recently on Sway in the Morning. And this is when this kind of comes up. I want to say this past week. And he was on there, was talking to Sway. And he's not just some fly-by-night rapper who's just trying to get his name out there. D1 has been doing this thing for well over a decade. He's doing this thing for a while, man. And if you look into his, background, he was actually a middle school teacher for quite a long time, and he's a full-time rapper now. All positive rap, building to his community, but he got a lot of attention, well, even more attention than he already gets when he posted. Actually, he went on to Sway. He was talking to Sway, and he not even pretty much. He called out rappers like Meek Mill, Rick Ross. Oh man, I'm thinking about somebody. Those are two that come off my head off the top. There's a couple of others I could be, but he pretty much he called them out about the things that they put out in their music, and he challenged them to really put out things more positive or stop those type of things that are, call it what it is, that are hurting the Black community. And the conversation is, you often hear that, hey, it's just music. And you and I have been listening to music long enough to know that it's not just music. There are people who listen to certain artists and they invest into that persona. And whether the artists themselves that are portraying it believe in it, the people who listen to it do, and they go by that. Not saying that, yeah, you have your own responsibility to decide what's right or wrong. But just like anything, when you have a prominent figure, when you kind of like invest into what they're saying, you're kind of like following what they do. We talk about that with this younger generation and this music they listen to from this younger generation of rappers, and they doing the things that they do. And it happens with the folks like that. So he pointed out the fact that the killings and the drug dealing in the Black community, destroying this and whatever. He challenged them to help build. Meek Mill responded, but it wasn't like anything that's off the cuff. But Rick Ross responded in a way that he pretty much proved D1's point. I'll say that. And without playing the clip, D1 pretty much Rick Ross came out and was like, hey, hey, look, when you you went viral by calling out other rappers, how about you try going viral by once you give out 20,000 turkeys in the hood, or giving out bikes and stuff like that. Things completely different than what D1 was talking about, but he kind of proved the point. And I want to get your take of what you took from it. And I'm not going to do a what's right or wrong, but just really give your take on the whole situation. And we'll just let the conversation go naturally from there.
I don't think I got a real deep take on it, to be very honest with you. This conversation's been around for a long time, down to the point of how our hip hop music was causing violence and things like that.
Right.
And then the same thing with certain video games and stuff.
Right.
Do I like the natural progression that normally goes on, or that should go on with some of these rappers? Yeah, you were in the hustle in the very beginning. We understood. That's what linked us to you. But a lot of you aren't in that anymore. Mm-hmm. The hustle that you're in is the business game. That's what I want to know about. I want a 444. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
That's why I always said that Jay-Z separates himself from everybody else to me, because, he explained where he came from and how he got there, but you also saw the growth within his music of where he's at.
Right.
While he can still touch on there, he lets you know I'm not there. So it's that part to me. It's not the whole I need him to lead the way for me. So I don't want him to come out as a spokesperson in a certain type of way if he doesn't want to. But there's a natural growth there that inspires somebody like me I've been following him his whole career. Me personally, I never sat back and took Rick Ross music and dissected it in the same way, because honestly, I just never put him in the same lane. But I know people that would, and certain people that look at him in a certain way and his lyrics in a certain type of way, but he has a business mentality to him too. And if that was out in the front more, I think he would advance himself to a whole nother level. Meek Mill, for example, not saying that he wasn't on anybody's radar beforehand, but nobody can tell me that his popularity status did not jump up after getting out
Right.
and changing himself around and being more of a mogul. Sorry. And getting out there being that businessman and you know, being within like that Jay-Z Diddy type squadron where, you know, pulling everybody together and let's figure out how to get this money. So that hustle is still there. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. They think they still need to be proven with that street cred, and
Right.
that street cred get you killed. You still want to live that life?
Yeah.
And we've seen it way too many times.
Right.
So I'm not here to tell anybody what to do in that same sense of where I guess D1 was going. But my whole thing is the fact of what they tell you. If you live by it, you die by it.
Yeah.
You want to act like you still out there in those things and you don't want to speak about the other stuff more, then just remember, all it takes is that one person. So you can prove that, you know, you still got it in you without being there. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fine line. So I just want to come off in a way where no, I don't feel all the way in the same way where I'm looking at Rick Ross or Meek Mill saying that yeah, you should definitely be doing this and not this. But just know that there are plenty of ears that are listening to you and they're seeing you in a certain type of light. And if you want to be seen in that light, that's fine. I ain't got nothing to say about that. If you want to be seen in that light, that's fine. But don't try to step out this way. It's like living two lives. Don't try to step out this way and want me to hear that chatter when you're really speaking on this. And I guess that's kind of where D1 was kind of going with it. But I'm just explaining it more in that way to me, not more of this is what you should do. It's just like it gets misconstrued in a way. The message gets very unclear in a way because I don't know what to all the way look at you as. I mean, me personally, I can separate the two, but some people are just like, nah. I don't even want to see a certain artist, entertainer, athlete, whoever it is in that certain light. I want to see them just like this. So
so of course this is episode 130 and it is titled, you know, properly viral infection for different reasons. And one thing that stood out, something that stood out immediately from this once D1 went in. So D1 isn't just a fly by night fan. Like we talk about, we watched the BET express our dismay with the production and stuff like that and how we're portrayed. But how many people, to be perfectly honest, are listening to us that's really going to shape or get anybody else's attention, to be honest? Because only if you think about it, people only respond to others who actually force them to respond, if that makes sense. Like if we had a bigger platform, to be perfectly honest, and when we speak on certain things, and we do well on the pod, but if we had something that really shook and it got to people, then we more than likely will probably get a response because now it's affecting them probably, whether it's on the in the media space or something like that. So when D1 went on Sway, which Sway in the Morning is a humongous platform, we all know who Sway is. D1, if you're on Sway in the Morning, you are somebody. That's why D1 was there. So after he said what he said, he pretty much let them know, like he was saying, he was challenging Jim Jones, Meek Mill, Rick Ross and them to do better. And part of that same thing we say, you know, because he also spoke about how the hip hop or BET hip hop awards have been portrayed over the last few years. And this is a quote from what Rick Ross has said. And none of his response actually went back to what D1 said, but this is what he responds. And this is the thing that kind of caught me into this case. So he said, quote, "Little man, whoever you is, okay, until you feed the kids where you're from for 20 years straight, don't question Rose," he began. Wait until you buy 100,000 bikes or 10,000 bikes. Don't question boss. You heard me, little man. Get that basket off your head. So now he's insulting them. So you can think clearer, little man. Since you want to go viral, I'm going to show you how to go viral, little man. He continued, go viral feeding them kids in your hood. Go viral giving them bikes away. Go viral Christmas time. Don't be saying Jim Jones just gave away 6 figures worth of clothes in his hood. And you a nigga who just talking, looking vegan, knowing you eating more, yada, yada, yada. So it's a bunch of insults and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that's the part that struck with me, because what D1 was saying, and I'm not taking a side, but what he was saying was, and to your point, we've lost a lot of good black hip hop artists in the hood trying to live that life.
Yeah.
And we also, at the same time, we complain about how we're portrayed on TV, right or wrong. And
Right.
and he's calling that out for people in those power positions. And two, the go viral thing. I don't think D1 was trying to go viral. You made him go viral by responding, but he's calling you out because he has a platform himself. But I will challenge this, though. Even though it's fictional, in Nino Brown is a fictional character. Nino Brown did what in that film? Was he not giving out turkeys?
Mm-hmm.
In American Gangster, Frank Lucas, which is nonfiction, was he not giving out what? Food, turkeys, and such like that?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that gets messed up, and I see this happen, just because you decide to buy some kids some bikes, and I get you want to give back to the community. I get that part. That does not absolve you from the things that may have contributed to the detriment of said neighborhood. See what I'm saying? Like, you're kind of like buying back their forgiveness. If you spent your whole life, whatever the case may be, whether you ran drugs, guns, or something like that, hell, look at goddamn, you can go to politics. Look at the Russian president, Putin. He's done things like this too. He's giving out stuff there, but we know what Putin is in Russia. You see what I'm saying? So you can't, when I see stuff like this, specifically for us, if that's your first response, that shows me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have a level of guilt about what you did. If that's your first response, if someone telling you, hey, look, we can do something better, and your first response is to insult, do this and the other, not knowing that D1 in this case is helped give out quite a bit of money in just college scholarships alone. We're talking about high 6 figures. So it's one of those things where we do in our community, which I hate to see. Like, they kind of like calling you to the carpet. It's like, hey, we can do better, because the same things are still continuing. If you look at the last few years of the people that's dying in hoods and stuff like that. So what's your take?
I think that's it's more of a call for somebody like a Rick Ross than anybody else within that breakdown. Not saying other people don't do stuff.
Right.
But Rick Ross is more to a status of, so then what now?
Right.
You know what I mean? People are looking at your next move. Right. I mean, it's not the push down a Meek Mills or anybody else like that, or even a Jim Jones. I know they're out there doing stuff. Yeah. But you're starting to get to a point where you're bigger than the music.
Exactly.
I pay attention to Rick Ross now for more of his moves in life than I do his music, if we're being honest.
Right.
I was so proud when I heard about the Coming to America part 2 and it being shot right there at his spot. And I was like, damn, he making moves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, those are the power moves that inspire someone like me more than even the lyrics that are coming out. So that's why I said I'm able to separate the two, but some people can't.
Right.
You know, and that's what I want to hear more about. You know, Jay-Z, it's the businessman side more than I love his music. Don't get it
Right.
twisted.
Right.
But these business moves that he makes, I'm more intrigued by and reading the storyline on with him and getting to that billionaire status. Diddy the same type of way. You know, when you are up there on that top echelon, and no longer are we saying top echelon of like the music, the craft that you're known for, you're bigger than the original craft you're known for.
Mm-hmm.
I'll switch it all up. Magic Johnson is that way.
Who's
You
a
know what I
billionaire
mean?
now? He's now a
Yep.
billionaire.
Congrats to him and everything. Like the moves he made. Who knew that somebody that will go down as if not the best point guard, at least to me, one of the best players to ever live in the NBA, ever play the game, and you might be more known for the moves outside of basketball.
Right.
That's when you know you're here.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
When people try to challenge the whole Michael Jordan stuff and oh well, so and so is on this level. I'm like, there's people standing in lines paying astronomical numbers for sneakers of a man that they never seen play. That's the status of this man.
Right.
And then
Right.
all the other moves he's making after basketball. And even though he's my GOAT within basketball, this is where he went afterwards. You get what I mean? That's what I look at, whether you're a rap artist or any type of entertainer, or whether it's an athlete. When you get to a certain status, so where do you go now? You know what I mean? Don't talk about the hustle that got you in the game, because that's over with.
Right.
You got millions on top of millions and maybe even billions of dollars. Like, what are we talking about? How did you get that?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Like, how we making those moves and how we multiplying that money? How we flipping that? You told me how to flip this over here. I want to know how to flip that.
Exactly.
So-
And I get that in that part, and you know, it gets lost in translation, and then the viral part, because you often hear about, and it was, call it what it is, but you know, calling that part out is not necessarily needed, in my opinion, because it's like, you know, we often talk about us as a community not getting a fair shake at creating better for our communities and generational wealth, or owning these big platforms that we consume so much. We just talked about in a previous episode the fact that Tyler Perry was going to, well, prior to that, potentially going to buy BET and VH1, but then that fell through on some bullshit, you know, because of they thought it was valued more, XYZ, whatever. But here's the other part of that.
They didn't want him to have it, but go ahead.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Here's the other part of that. Of course, that's something that not many people may have not known. Like, some people may not. The last thing that a lot of people in our community might remember is, hey, Tyler Perry's about to buy it. Okay, whatever. They don't know anything else. They may not even know that never went through. But how many people in the community still are watching those networks? See what I'm saying? So it's like, it's those things, like, it's one of those things where if you want better, you would do better. And if you see people who have the ability to help push us towards the better, you may call them out on it. And to them, they can take it one of two ways. You can either come in, have a conversation between the two, or you can resort to the, what are you doing in this particular situation? And then you end up creating an infight to the point. So you make yourself look lesser than what you really are. It's okay to have warts. Like, well, I see it, it's okay to have warts. It's okay to have that. See what I'm saying?
Hey, I know Rose won't be happy with what I'm about to say here, because this is arch nemesis. But the person that has proven to do something outside of the music, and honestly, he will go down as somebody I know outside of his music more than his music, even though that was great too. It's 50 Cent.
Yes.
You know, and when you're talking about those power moves, like what Tyler Perry was trying to do, well, what he does on an everyday level, I'm not even going to say trying to do, what he does on an everyday level, whether they put up a wall in front of him or not, he finds a way. So we spoke about it on another episode, the other things he's did now. But with 50 Cent, I don't know if you know, but like Stars just laid off a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Stars Network.
Right.
They did a big layoff. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, like, why don't you just let this man either get a piece of the pie or take the whole thing? He's your whole station. If people knew that 50 took over Stars, I guarantee you all those people that got laid off could come right back on.
Exactly.
I guarantee, because he's that big within the movement. Like, you don't even have to see no
You move the
type
needle.
of-
You move the needle.
Yeah, your name is that known in this business now. You're not no guest star. You know what I mean? You are it. You are the high commodity. If I know it's a 50 Cent show, I know I'm watching.
Yep.
I know I'm watching. So, that's the move that I'm talking about. And I know he's out there making those moves. But here's the other thing about it that gets me. And you were kind of touching on it. This type of stuff, you feel like you're in the wrong, and you have belittled yourself in a certain type of way because of the way you responded.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's
because of the way you responded. You know what I mean? Like, you probably wouldn't have heard nothing from Jay.
Exactly, because it's
It don't even matter.
It's one of those things where it doesn't. It's people who have the ability to do so, and then you take, it's not even a high road. I never thought that he was insulting.
Nah,
he was calling these guys out, and when you start doing that, and all of a sudden you start looking at, you start tearing down somebody else, and they just kind of like, hey, what can we do better? Because he sees them as people who are able to make a difference in that capacity, who also at the same time have an impact in what they do. Like, they have an impact in what they do. People listen to that and they feel a certain way and they go behind that. So if you have that power to be able to move these many people, and people say what they want, it's just not just music. We can go to Bob Marley, Marvin Gaye. We know the power there is in music to move people. Hip hop is that, for better or for worse. Hell, Jay-Z had us all out here wearing button-ups and goddamn jeans, which is the worst the worst fad there ever was. Is out now, because I am myself is a well-dressed guy when I want to be outside of my graphic tees. But I look at it now, I'm like, Jay really had us out here wearing goddamn button-ups with cufflinks and some goddamn jeans. I would never wear that, but he had a whole generation and a baseball cap, a whole generation doing that. If you have that power to do that, of course I'm gonna come at you, but like, okay, especially when something's happening, like things are happening in the hood. I'm like, hey,
and had us wearing some Reeboks that were uncomfortable. But go ahead.
Comfortable as a bitch. It's so uncomfortable. So he saw that aspect of Rick Ross, man. Perhaps someone that, and he got his attention in that regard, and he responded in a way that, kind of proved this point.
Not so breaking news. You don't even have to press it though. Not so breaking news, but breaking news. It is now projected, because this is a voting night, by the way, that Ohio has just voted to legalize marijuana. Go ahead though.
Oh man, you know what that means? Dave Chappelle's next comedy set is gonna be crazy, son. This is, Dave Chappelle next joint is gonna be bananas.
He's probably at the polling booth like, hey man,
come on! Oh my god!
Better vote yes on that.
God. I'll say that to close this up, man. Like when we want to, I'll say we don't necessarily have to tear each other down when we just want each other to do better. At the end of the day, we don't. It's not necessary. Not everybody sit in the same position as the next person. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do the thing where get on my level before you say anything, because at the end of the day, and criticism. It is that. And I think what strikes a nerve, probably more so with this, is that D1 is a a Christian rapper, however you want to. That's the big thing there. If it had been another rapper, I think this might have went over differently. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So like that, I'm a fan of Rick Ross. I'm a fan of D1. I listen to all the music there. I know how to go, but this is the last thing that you need in a space to where we don't own a lot of shit anyway, and we still battling over, how we want to be portrayed in the world of hip hop in which we created. So this is the Hot Seed Podcast with your boy Sean, the storyteller. Episode 130, viral infection. Rightfully so that we title it as such because we are now in the fall/winter/ some days I feel like summer category of the year. And this is where everybody and their mama gets sick, bro. I'll say this right now. COVID is still a thing. Whatever you believe, you can call it what you want. Sickness. Just call it that because some people are like, COVID ain't real. You know what? It's real when I see somebody eyes is bloodshot, your ass sweating, and you coughing and sneezing. Call it what you want. It's a thing. And I saw a report that shows that in Arizona alone, that flu cases were up 44%. And then doctors are worrying about their vaccination rates. I myself suffer from sinus infections. That transition from summer to fall is hell on earth, bro. But now I'm older, I'm a little bit wiser. Before I get to that, pump this vitamin C, vitamin D, everything else in between. I need to get all fluids, everything else, because depending on where you're working at, or where whatever you're doing, anything can trigger that sickness. And I've seen even from my staff who works for me, I've had about 4 people go down just being sickness, and it was like a 2-3 day viral type infection. I'm like, keep that over here. I walk throughout the space on a daily basis and people just like coughing and whatnot, never sneezing. And I'm like, so you think about you're walking behind somebody or you're 3 people behind, don't realize that the person in 3 people in front of you has sneezed. Those little driplets are still sitting in the air. Perhaps you walk right into it. Next thing you know, your ass got 101 fever. And it ain't COVID. It's just the common cold, which in my opinion is worse than COVID because the common cold, you can't really, they ain't no diagnosis. They give your ass some Robitussin, say go home, give you a note, and good luck, little buddy. That's all you got. I don't know. How's it been going for y'all? So far, so good. We've been good here in my household. I spray everything with household. It's Lysol. Somebody sneezed once, I sprayed my son with Lysol. I ain't gonna lie. I dead ass sprayed him. He sneezed. I sprayed the shit up. He's like, Dad, stop. No, we're not about to do this, bro. We're not about to do this. And there's a lot of tequila and stuff in my house too.
We've been pretty good over here, which is surprising because of the fact that normally when these kids are back in school, that is the opening for everything. No, man, more than even just the season change, and it's just these kids around the kids again, and they don't know no better. Like they all up on each other. So so and so was coughing today, and I guarantee you, right up in his face.
He's right my friend. Like, bro, I need you to stop it right now.
So it's so easy for that stuff to go around, but knock on wood, nothing's really come over this way. I think it's a little less active in this household because we're both remote.
Yeah.
So it's not everybody going into an office. So unless Cam's bringing it in, we're all right. We're doing okay.
So from what I understand, you guys were trying to take a little bit of a trip, and the vet was like, yeah, your dog can't stay here unless he get a flu vaccination.
That is correct. So, we have certain people that watch our dog, but we wanted to officially on this time give him a spot to go to, like a doggy daycare, not just somebody watching him with other dogs, but an actual doggy daycare. They go out, do stuff, all that type of stuff. So there's this one over in Alexandria, Virginia, since we were going into Virginia, that we were signing him up for. So I get through all this paperwork. By the way, the paperwork was crazy. I thought I was signing my life away. So I get through all this paperwork for me to call them up and say, yeah, I submitted everything. They're like, oh, but it's showing that your dog doesn't have the flu shot. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, the dog needs the flu shot. Oh, so this ain't even a choice no more. He got all his other shots. I thought the flu shot is mandatory now. And they're like, yeah. Well, my vet doesn't say it's mandatory. So how in the world are you telling me? I was like, hell, I'm gonna tell my dog to get something I don't get at this moment. So needless to say, he won't be going to that doggy daycare. Yeah, we were thinking about still going to do it, but yeah, as of right now, we don't have him going to get the flu shot because on top of that, you also got to get 2. There's a flu shot and then a booster to the flu shot that the dog has to get. So yeah, that's that. That is that.
I don't. The flu shot has always been an interesting thing for me because they, you listen to the aficionados. It was like, no, it's a. I've heard everything from it's a dormant or dormant strain of the flu. You shouldn't get sick from it. This and the other. Sir or ma'am, I have not taken the flu shot since 2010, 11, maybe 12. No, I'll lie. 13. That's been 10 years. At that point, I just stopped. Why? Because every time I took that flu shot, my ass got something worse than the flu. So much so, at the time, my ex-wife, I was laying at the top of our stairs. And I had my pajama stuff on and sweats, shaking a day after getting the flu shot. Nope, I'm good. Now, that's just me. People react different ways to vaccines. But I never did well with flu vaccines anyway, even when I was in the military. Like it was always a problem. I have to call first. Hey, look. Hey, I know we all just stood in line for this goddamn flu vaccine, but your boy over here with 103 fever, well, you gonna make formation? First off, do you hear what I said? I got 103. I can't do it.
So let me go off of what you just said. So first off, before even stating it, I'm not that crazy person like some of the people on the COVID thing where it's like, right. Oh, you got the COVID shot? Look, I don't care if you get the COVID shot. I don't care if you get the flu shot.
Right.
This is me. I'm talking about me.
Exactly.
So, and nobody's going to know you better than who?
Right.
You.
Right.
So what works for one person may not work for the other. Right. So the same thing I tell people on the COVID shot. Yeah, I got my first couple shots and everything in the very beginning and the booster shots to that and blah, blah, blah. But I'm also not here going, oh, you definitely need to go do it. If someone asks me why I went and got it, then I will let them know. But once again, it doesn't tell you that you had to go do it. Now, you said 2010 period. I haven't had a flu shot since 99. And the only reason I got it in 99 is because I had to. I was in high school.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was my graduation year. That's it.
Yeah.
That was it. After it was fully my choice, nothing to do with sports or anything else like that, I was like, nah, I'm good. I ain't doing this. Because for me, and just knowing my immune system, what I've been able to kind of wean off of away from certain things, as far as regular colds and stuff like that, I get my sinus attacks through the year, and that's really it. So I know my body in that sense and what I need to feed my body, and flu shot just never been it. But give you an example. My wife gets the flu shot. My mom gets the flu shot. You think I'm over there arguing with them? Like, why the hell you do? No, but also don't come at me like I need to go get it.
And I get you because it's like people who became here be like, look, most black people, we are lactose intolerant. They be like, well, try 2% milk. Sir, I don't give a damn if it's 0.5% milk. I can't do well with milk. I love my Captain Crunch, but I know when I make that decision, I'm be like, all right, it doesn't work.
Close to the toilet.
Just yeah. So yeah, don't try to project your decisions on stuff, because what I do know is this. Everything is up for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I've had in my lifetime MRIs read by the same MRI, and not to go too far off into it. I've had the same MRI read by literally 4 different doctors. One doctor was like, "Hey, man, you have this certain type of scoliosis." All right, cool. The next one was like, "Nah, you good. It's just, we got to work on your posture." The other one was like, "Yeah, man, you got degenerative spinal something." And the other person was like, "Nah, man, you just need physical therapy." All of y'all get paid more than me, and all 4 of y'all got 4 different opinions. But what I do know is I still walk around and I feel like I got a goddamn monkey sitting on my back, and my spine is like, yeah, something's wrong. It's all up for interpretation. So yeah, if you want the flu shot, take it. If you don't take it. But I'll say this: cover your goddamn mouth. Cover your mouth.
Listen. Let me give you a quick example of just people that don't listen. I'm talking about in the medical field. Straight up, I'm not good with needles. I've never been the thing for needles. It's never been me. There's a deeper conversation there. I ain't got enough time on the show to go through it. But it goes all the way back to my childhood. So I always let nurses know, or whoever, doctors know, if they're about to, administer a needle and things like that. I let them know, hey, look, I'm not good with needles. So one thing I just need is some water. Just bring some water. And that's it. Why, from me saying that, we need to have a 10-minute conversation about the fucking needle that you about to give me? I just told you. Now, I'm not going to run down a hallway away from the needle while you're trying to get it. I'm not that guy. I'm just letting you know I don't like needles, so let's kind of push this thing along. I don't want to be the person having a 10-minute conversation. I don't want you to come sit the needle right there next to me and then you leave the room for a fucking half an hour and now I'm sitting there looking at a goddamn needle. I don't get it. I just told you. You ain't got to tell me. You ain't going to feel a thing, bitch. I'm going to feel everything. I don't like needles. You ain't got to tell me nothing. Nothing. Just do it and get the hell going. So it just kills me when people don't listen. Just listen. I know my body. We ain't got to have a conversation about why I don't like needles. I ain't going nowhere. I got to get this done, obviously, or else I wouldn't be here. It ain't by my free will. So let's get this thing going.
I feel like you just took that shit personal and shit. Yo, this is the Hot Seed Podcast presents. Not even, I just fuck me all up. This is Hot Seed Podcast, episode 130. Viral infection.
Presents needles.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. So I forgot what I was about to talk about next. You completely threw me off with that last right there. But I know, we about to get into it. I'm bullshitting. You ready for some real estate corner?
Oh yeah, we go there.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's get it.
Turned up a little bit. There you go. All right. So on this episode of the Real Estate Corner, I wanted to touch on something that I brought up either an episode or 2 episodes ago when I was talking about the not settlement, but the case that happened where they're talking about commissions in the real estate field. I think some people didn't understand that breakdown, so I want to be a little bit more direct with it. And this is honestly going to go out to everybody. I'm talking about real estate agents, along with that buyer client, along with that seller client and things like that. Don't get so shooken up by what just happened. What basically happened in a nutshell is that seller felt that their listing agent didn't give them any options to the fact of commission and made it seem like that was the only thing that was out there and they had to do that or else. Well, number one, even if the listing agent, this is what I don't get about the ruling, even if the listing agent says, yes, I list things at 6%, guess what the seller doesn't have to do? Work with that person. So just because the person said this is their percentage, okay, that's what they feel like they're worth. Go to someone else if you feel like you can get it better somewhere else. So that's why this whole lawsuit and even the ruling that went on, I don't care if the person stuck to whatever percentage it was. You always got the option to work with anybody. I can suggest lenders. I can suggest title companies. I can suggest agents and teams. I can suggest myself. I can suggest inspectors. All these different type of things. It's a suggestion. But how are you going to question what I feel my worth is? That's like me coming to your job. You tell me how much I got to pay for your services, and then I question your service and how much I'm paying you, which gets done. It's bartering and everything. But if you don't want to come down to that price that I'm talking about, guess what? You ain't got to work with me, or I don't have to work with you. So it's a two-way street. So I said, that's why I said this message is also to the agents, because know your worth. Don't get tricked up by the fact that, oh my God, now they're saying that listing agents got to take less, or sellers don't have to pay for the buyer's agent anymore. No, just know that everything's changing. We saw this changing years ago. That's why for my agents, you will understand this terminology. Make sure you put down on your agreements when you're working with a buyer, and I do it myself. Buyer is responsible for any difference in commission less than and whatever you're charging for your percentage. That way, if nothing changes, you're fine. You're already paid by the seller. But if something does change, realize, buyer, that goes into your closing costs. That's not my fault. That's just been the ruling. I'm not coming down on my worth. I'm still doing the same damn shit. Unless I give you less of a service, how does my value come down? I got to pay the same bills that you got to pay. Now, there's a little bit deeper to that conversation where everything's negotiable. I'm not here to cost you the fact of moving in your house, but you're also not going to look at me like you're getting a discounted service, or you're getting my same service at a discounted price, I should say. On the listing side, what you need to do is explain to your potential clients, okay, yeah, I can come down on commission, but these are my services. We spoke about that before. Also, by the way, the more you come down on this percentage, it's not hurting me, it's hurting you. Because if you come down on this percentage that you're willing or not willing to pay out to a buyer's agent, guess what? They don't have to show your house. The client only knows that your house is available because the agent sent it to them. They don't have to show your house. If they don't feel like they're going to get paid, yes, I mean, there's a moral standard within there, but people are people. If you know you ain't going to get paid on the actual property by showing it, you think that person's going to keep on showing it? No, they know their worth. So just realize the market is changing. And the last thing I'll put out there is kind of got some good news out there that hopefully by spring going into summer, you already see the change in the percentage, the rates. It's starting to trickle down, and they see it projected to trickle down, and the Fed coming down on rates because they don't want to go into a recession. So hopefully by the buying season of the spring and summer of next year, you'll start seeing things change right there. But notice the market is changing. Real estate is changing, and you just got to change with it. But while you're changing with it, I'm just letting you know your worth. That's Real Estate Corner.
See, this is the kind of thing that needs to go viral. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, it really does. You know what kind of went viral? Not kind of. What went viral was the situation going on with DJ Envy and his investment into real estate properties and stuff like that. But what doesn't go viral are the things that actually legitimately can help you become a homeowner and stuff like that. I read this well, I pay attention to the fact, and I'm an avid listener of the Bomani Jones podcast, and now he's relaunched with Wave Sports, and I'm glad he's come back. But one thing that stands out, you can and again, this is episode 130, viral infection. You can train your social media, because we all use it, but you can train your social media to be what you want it to be by what you decide to take part in, what you decide to click on and stuff like that.
Mhm.
When you're on your Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever you can, there are options in there, whether you guys know it or not, to put in there where, show less of this particular thing. Don't, this ad was not helpful. Those different things. You can literally train your feed to be better for you, which means that the things that are viral may not even apply to you if it's not of something that's going to help you. So, and I don't know what type of a transition this was, but going from real estate corner to again, we're talking about the fact that things that are viral. What it meant to go viral, so the whole viral term came let me get this out of here because I see it now. 2009. So we're going back 14 years now. What it meant to have a viral video, and in this day and age now, that to go viral, your video or whatever case may typically has to be viewed or your post views, and I've seen something, and these numbers may be different, up to 5 million or more views in a week or less. I've seen different numbers from there. I've seen less than that. I've seen things like 20,000, 25,000 views on Instagram and stuff like that. Those things don't go viral unless you allow it to feed into your feed, which means, so part of that is those viral things, you train your social media feeds accordingly, just like your body. How do you avoid getting sick? You do the things that can keep you from getting sick, whether it be one, of course, make sure you sanitize in your home and stuff like that. If you believe in taking supplements and stuff like that, the basics is taking in vitamin C, fluids and stuff like that. Those are things that you can apply to your social media space. Your hydration and vitamin C is not allowing things that can allow your social media feed to become infected or viral things that don't help you. If that makes sense. That makes sense to you? Dave, that was a question to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. With the viral, I got you. I thought you were just saying it rhetorically.
Yeah, but it was one of those things. So like when we see these things, like we do the real estate corner, and we're talking to you guys. When you guys, when we present the things where is real estate corner or video game corner or different items, these are things that can't help, but you choose the intake of the quote unquote virus that you input in a place. You train yourself to do that.
But also realize this. It's so easy to go viral now.
Yes.
And bad news spreads faster than good.
Fast. It does.
So they always tell you, if you're not going to be known for something good, and it's very hard to be known for that, just be known for something bad.
Yeah.
And they'll last forever, and they'll talk about it forever. So it's why do you think certain shows are popular? Why do you think people get caught up on the phone and watching different videos? And I do it at times. I'm not here to separate myself from any of that. You watch that one video, and then they know, just algorithm wise, they know, oh, he probably laughed at that. He spent time looking at that. Boom, the next video he go to, boom, it's going to be this. And then next thing you know, an hour had passed in your day. You've been flicking through these videos, and they ain't doing nothing for you at all. Maybe a quick laugh or so, but I don't need that shit for the next hour and a half of my life. But you caught up. You're going. It's viral. All these different viral things that are going on. And why don't we have that same energy for the good stuff that people doing?
Exactly.
We don't. Let's just be real. We don't. You hear about it real quick. You might have a word of mouth message right here and there, but that's it. It's the same thing of when something bad happens out there and everybody comes together, whether it's gun reform, whatever it is, school shooting and all that type of stuff. And politicians know if they don't want to talk about it, Just let it be spoken about for 2 weeks,
Exactly.
and that news cycle will be gone. They know. Oh, that push is only going to be around for, we'll be all right. We'll get past that. It's just a news cycle right now. They know. So you got to keep it going. You got to be consistent. That's in anything that you do. You got to, if you want to make a change, you got to be consistent with the message that you're putting out there, whether it's showing a return or not. That's the key. Whether it's showing a return or not. Consistency doesn't mean that you're going to get something right back in return immediately. It's not an immediate satisfaction. I'm all messed up today.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be immediately satisfied through that sense. It's not an immediate response. But if you stick with it, guess what? You'll see the fruits of your labor. So it's the same thing here. You want to be known for a good business or a good message and everything. You can't just put it out there once. You can't put it out there once.
Yep.
People got to see you for damn near years. Your own people, your own friends, family members. That's the key. Your own friends and family members have to see you for years to go, damn, y'all really being consistent. We know that. This is personal stuff going on here. We know that. Oh shit, y'all really got something going on over there. Yeah, well, 3 years later.
Well, he's saying a lot without saying anything. But
yeah, that's it.
But I'll say this way though. Speaking of instant, but in some cases, I do have to say this though. There are cases where instant return and gratification is something that does work.
Not so breaking news.
So if you guys haven't seen, you talk about instant gratification, you love that transition.
Mm-hmm.
So not so breaking news, and I've been holding on to this story, and I wish I hadn't, because I feel like I had it first, ego wise, but I've heard it on other places, but I had it first. So this from November 1st. Now I've been hanging on to this for a week. So you may have seen it. A Florida man was cited this week for driving a truck that was painted similar to the look of the Border Patrol vehicles, but read Booty Patrol on the back instead of Border Patrol. The driver was pulled over Sunday and cited under a law that deals with prohibited vehicle lights that resemble those of law enforcement or other officials. The DeSoto County Sheriff's Office said Tuesday. On Monday, the Sheriff's Office posted photos of the truck on social media to raise awareness about people impersonating authorities. Photos of the white truck showed it had Booty Patrol, yes, Booty Patrol on the back, and side panels with a diagonal green stripe down the side of the cab. The truck had red and blue lights and had been seen in several counties. The sheriff's office says the driver was not identified in a statement the sheriff's office posted on social media. So I will post it in a link. So if you guys ever seen one of the Border Patrol trucks, it's all white on the I guess the tail end part of it has a green stripe, and you've seen it. It says Border Patrol. My man's was driving around Florida. That shit said Booty Patrol. I saw this a week ago. I've been holding on to this for the longest time. Bruh, I don't even know what he was trying to accomplish, but the shit went viral. Case in point, viral infection. But one of the sheriff's office saw it. No, so no one reported it. The sheriff's office, the one who got him, but this is down in Florida, of course, down in Miami. And if you ever been down to Miami, so put Miami together with somebody riding around in a Booty Patrol that looks like a Border Patrol truck. That's instant gratification right there, bro. I don't know.
You can catch a lot, especially down in Miami. I'll tell you that much, but I'll leave that. I'll leave that right there.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? So they arrested the dude. So and this is part I was driving today. Shout out to 105.7 The Fan up here in Baltimore. And I already had this pick, and they said it this morning. And I'm like, look, shit, I'm still running with it on our podcast. I had it before they did. They were talking about it's something they do, like the world of stupid thing that they do. And he was talking about it. So my man got pulled over, And my man literally said, quote, I thought this was a free country. That's literally what he said. They pulled him over in this truck. Like, if you weren't paying attention, you would have thought it was a border patrol truck until you stopped and read and be like, wait, that shit says booty patrol. So that being the case, in Miami, I know for a fact that there is a high count. There's a lot of booty out there, but there's a lot of it out there that has been, lack of better terms, is sponsored by Rubbermaid. If you see where I'm going with this. So I wonder if my man's whole goal, because they didn't say why he didn't say why he did it. I wonder if he's just driving around, Miami, Lauderdale, wherever. And he's literally like, I wonder if he ever got to the point where he stopped some booty along the way and said, hey, ma'am, I need to check and see if that booty is official. That's just me. I don't know what you think, but I'm saying if you're going to have a booty patrol, you patrolling, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got citizens on patrol, you got booty patrol. You need to check out, is that booty real? Nah? Is that just me? No?
Hey, there's people out there that shoot those videos like that. I'm just saying that's part of my scrolling. That's the algorithm.
So you need to train your algorithm to make sure that you don't get that in there, that they
booty rocking everywhere.
I was gonna cue that up too, though. But BMI ain't cleared my clearance yet, so I'm waiting for it. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, yo, we gotta talk. And it went viral. I thought this shit was funny.
Give me a not so breaking news real quick.
I got you, man.
Not so breaking news.
I know the person that really wanted to speak on this is our other co-host, Earl, but he wasn't able to be with us tonight. So I'm not going to dive deep into this, but I did want to just touch on it through the not so breaking news. Those of you that know about the now famous TikTok food reviewer, Keith Lee, he's one of the people that go to numerous different places all around the nation and tries out different restaurants food. Just off the whim. Most of the time, he doesn't even want people to know that he's there, tries out the food, and then he gives his honest review of it, posted on TikTok and other websites. Well, people in Atlanta specifically are pretty mad because he said they left them overall very bad reviews. And they feel like he has stopped business from going there and things like that. Now, you can see this two ways. Yes, like we were saying before, words are very powerful. So when so many people follow you, and he has a lot of followers, I want to say he's might be past like 5 million now. Like he's up there. Okay. But if you've ever watched him, and I have, he's also part of my algorithm. There's another guy I watch too. But the reason why I do watch him is because he gives everybody a chance. And it's an honest review. And if you hear his message through the beginning, through the middle, and through the end of it, he always tells you what? This is my opinion. I still suggest you come down here and try it out yourself. People that are bashing, they're telling you, nah, stay away from this place. You don't need to be here. But specifically with what he does, a food critic wise, something that you may like, Sean, I may not. Everybody's taste is different. So just because somebody now, the only part that tiptoes the line is when you start talking about service.
Right.
Not so much the food, but the service, because that's big in my book.
Right.
You telling me that service is horrible? Yeah, I might not be there. But this is the thing. If these restaurants are complaining about him talking about some of the service, why was your service bad?
Right.
And a lot of times when he talks about the service being bad, he's like, the service didn't wake up until they realized it was me. It's like Chef Gordon Ramsay showing up at your restaurant.
Right.
Oh, all of a sudden, yeah, let's get the best dish out of it. I don't want to be treated like that. That's why he comes in disguise. That's why with Keith Lee now he has like his his sister go in and things like that and get the food. And she'll come back out and she'll be like, oh, they say it's like a 2-hour wait. Next thing they know, he walking in, and next thing you know, people been waiting in line and waiting for those hours, and they're trying to serve him food. And he's like, nah, I ain't trying to be treated like that.
Yeah.
If everybody else got to wait 2 hours, then I'll just be the person to wait 2 hours, but I don't have time for that, so I'm just not going to eat here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they go off on it. It's like, no, that's just how your establishment runs. Don't wake up just because he's there. I want to see you in your true essence. I want the real food that you're putting out there.
Right.
So, maybe he did pop up on you. But that is the best review, is it not?
It is. And this is the part. And again, this went viral. Again, episode 130, viral infection. You went viral for the wrong reason. And this is the part that bothers me the most. Because if you read into this, he's even gotten, if I'm correct, he was getting death threats and whatnot. Yep. And it's this misconception because you're black, you automatically have to co-sign what another black person does. That for whatever reason, you have to co-sign their business habits because they're black. And you hear people, especially in the food industry, say things like, well, the Chinese restaurants service are just as bad. Maybe they are. But guess what? How many Chinese restaurants are there compared to black restaurants? You want better. I don't care. And this is just me. And I'll apologize for the quick Sean rant. I don't care what the Chinese, Italian, white, Greek, Polish, Arabic, I don't care what the fuck they do. We're talking about us. We often talk about the fact that you go into certain cities, whether it's New York, LA, DC, it's places like that. They don't have, you can go in there, you have Chinatown, Little Italy's, stuff like that. There's no Little Africa. There's no Black America town, nothing like that. We don't have that. We don't have that correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. We don't have that in any city in the United States of America. The closest thing we got is Atlanta, and they call that Wakanda. Mm-hmm. And even then, you're seeing these issues, and people feel like, well, it's a black establishment. You should automatically give us high marks. No. We want to give you guys the money, but you can't take advantage.
Wow.
I did not mean, I don't know why the fuck that just did that. We don't just want, it's hard enough as a black person to get equal pay. So we want to make sure we spend our money with our community. But if you're not, I'm going to spend it with somebody who gives me the best service. We got enough shit to go up against. And it's interesting that you said this. I started working for, they're out of business now. I started working for Bed Bath & Beyond in 2013. In my district down in the Newport News, Hampton area, I was one of, in my entire district, one of, I want to say 5, maybe something like that, of the actual management that were black. Most of them were white on my level. Me. That was just me. And I had to navigate a space to where I had to operate on a corporate level and maintaining my own responsibilities to help try to grow those who report to me, who a lot of them were black. But management-wise, I was one of very few. So much so I actually had a corporate person say, I won't mention the my boss's name at the time, but he's like, I didn't think he really hired black people. That's an actual quote, end quote. That's what I went through for a 4-year period. And I had to try to, one thing, maintain my level of responsibility as that corporate entity, but still bring up people along that way. We don't have a lot that we have our space for. So when we do, we need to do what we need to do to take care of our own. I'll put it that way. So just because I'm black, if I go to, and we've been watching the pod long enough, and I hope you don't mind this, we bought our house. Our realtor was David. He was our realtor. And solid. Not because I've known him for years, but I know he knows his thing. But I also know there are some black realtors that take the real estate test, do that 60 hours, pay the $350-$60, and out here selling houses. And then after the fact, you be ready to wring their neck. But you went with them because they were black. When you could have went with somebody else who's more experienced. But you was like, I'm going to give my sister or my brother a shot. But then we complain by why we don't bring our business to them, because we decide that we sit on because I am this instead of actually doing the work. We will never catch up to, I don't know what's going on in the back behind me. We would never catch up to the years of the white majority and such, Asian, whatever, that we will never catch up to that. We will never catch up. All we can do is take advantage of the positions that we have now and get it done. But go ahead.
It's the same way I started, and I'll end it off the same. It's his review.
Mm-hmm.
It's his opinion. And if you ever listen to it,
right,
he starts it off that way, breaking it down that way.
Right.
And he ends it in a way of, this is my opinion.
Right.
This is my review. I'm not telling you not to come down here. Come visit so-and-so's establishment and find out for yourself. It's not a bashing at all. At all that happens. He's a food critic. He is there to critique. Yes. That's it. To give his opinion. So that's why I tell people, specifically with food, okay, you don't like it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to like it. I've had people come down to my house, and I've taken them to, say, a place that I love to eat at all the time. And they'll be like, oh, well, that was so-and-so. That's your thoughts. I love this spot. That's not going to stop me from going there because you don't love it. It's just, hey, all right, it wasn't your cup of tea. Now I know. So it's that type of thing. Like, okay, but it's entertainment too. And by the way, you may look at it as he's projecting a bad image on your establishment. Hell, people might not have even known about your establishment until you were on his
Exactly. So and think about this though. Don't act like you ain't had that one auntie who then came to your crib, who then made the bad batch of macaroni and cheese, and you've been like, nah, don't do that here. And she black. You ain't never tell her don't do it again. I'm just saying. Episode 130 with your boy Sean Xavier, the storyteller man, here on the Hot Seed Podcast. Before we get into our video game corner, I didn't find a way to transition into this. But I'm wearing, Dave is wearing his Marvel garb and his Disney garb. He's part of the corporate machine. Sorry. I'm here with Batman, but if you see, I got the OD green and I got the camouflage because this week is Veterans Week, November 11th, this Saturday being Veterans Day. I am a veteran. I'm an Army veteran. I served my 6 years in, and I did civilian time after that. And it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And it's a two-part thing with this. Is we talk about it a lot. And I think Dave has probably been more vocal than I have. Is the fact that there's going to be things that's going to be expressed this week, probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you'll see it in the form of, hey, we got a Veterans Day sale and stuff like that. And people forget about the true essence of being a veteran. And this is the Hot Seat Podcast, so we're going to give you the real. And looking at one of the most, I guess, recentest is, and it's, Google gives you everything. But still, one thing that's still a problem is I saw that it still have a stat out there that's about 23% of all homeless persons are veterans. Now, how they equate that into the whole realm of homeless people throughout the United States, one thing, but 23, so a quarter of the homeless people in the United States are all veterans, which still is a problem to me. Now, I do understand that everybody has to make their choice. They make their, individual choices as adults and such. So, you can't help everybody. But I also do understand that from being a veteran myself, and if for those who have experienced the VA, and I'm calling you to the carpet, as Earl was saying, I'm calling you to the front of the congregation. There is support and stuff that is needed for the veterans out there that isn't being given, considering the amount of money that is poured into military and government entities that really just sit on the books. If you want to be perfectly honest, it just sits on the books. Like, hey, we got some money to give new computers. You can do that to support the endless amounts of homeless veterans that are in the nation's goddamn capital or around some of our largest military installations. One that comes to mind is around where I'm from, the Hampton Roads area, around the VA that's down Hampton, Norfolk area, around the Norfolk Naval Base and such like that, or Langley and such. Now I currently live in the DMV, homeless veterans everywhere. Yes, I understand there are those who are there who are doing their panhandling stuff there, but I can guarantee you more of them are actually homeless than not. And also, we know about this, the fact that during the 9/11 time, and not even before that, you can talk about Desert Storm like that, people who went overseas, served their death and came back and was like, hey, we'll just return you back to your families. That shit didn't work out. They end up out on the streets. So while everybody is celebrating their 4-day weekend and such, or if you were a person in the service industry and a veteran comes up and asks you, do you guys have a veteran discount? And I'm sorry, Dave, before you get a goddamn attitude about a veteran asking if you guys have a veteran discount, think about it is, have you ever picked up a weapon? Have you ever went to basic training? Have you ever went to AIT? Have you ever flown away and been away from your family for a year or more to represent and quote unquote protect a country that don't really, really, really love you in a way? Think about that. Because at any given time, you can be staring somebody in the face that you don't know, sacrificed and put that up. I see people day in and day out. The beard wouldn't tell you until they talk to me and they realize that, oh shit, that's my spiel. What you got, bro?
Nah, I mean, you pretty much said it all. I think it's easily the most misrepresented, if you want to call it industry, service, just people in general, that we have. You ask people to go out and fight for your freedoms, and then you don't care about those freedoms when they come back.
Right.
You turn a blind eye to it. It's that evident. I'm not going to go on my rant of what I normally go on with, the story of my pops and stuff. But it's just horrible to see. I don't think there should be one homeless vet out there. I think even when people bolster up the whole VA loan situation, since I'm in the real estate world, okay, great. You have no down payment. It doesn't mean it disappeared. It just rolled into your loan.
All right.
That's it. And they threw a funding fee on top of it that they don't talk about. That's it. That's it. Oh, by the way, all those VA people that come in to get their home, they don't get to explain to them that they still have closing costs. You know, that's still a good amount. Don't speak about the fact that their rates could still be high. They don't get a major discount on that. So if you really wanted to give an exception to like vets, trust me, there's so many things that they could do. Shoot, they could front half the house as far as the payment and accelerate that jump.
Yeah.
You know, and who's going to turn the blind eye to that? I've always said this, and I'm so serious about this statement. For all the other things that they try to hide from you and raise my goddamn taxes off of, if you told me that my taxes went up 1% because it was going towards veteran homelessness or anything towards veteran benefits, I wouldn't even question it. And if you raise it up 1% for everybody out there besides vets, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It's that easy. The thing is, you raise it up 5, 6, 7% for shit that you say is there, but that shit ain't getting done. For schools, for hospitals, for roads, for none of that stuff. My schools still look the same. Still ain't got no air conditioning. They still got the same old books from when I was there. The hospital don't even have all the stuff that it should. COVID threw it on its back. Staff is underpaid. The roadways ain't never finished. Can't even fill in a pothole. Bridges collapsing. I mean, what's it going towards? Border control? Don't get me started.
Yep.
What is it going towards? So if you took that quote unquote money, all this budgeting, everything that's going outside our country, and you just told me you took some of that money and you annihilated, you took away, you ended veteran homelessness, what are we talking about?
It's something that it's become so blasé. It wasn't like this when I went in. I went in in 1998. And maybe it was, and I just didn't know because I didn't have any. But for people who don't know, if you are a single parent, did you guys know that you have to give up your parental rights if you're a single parent? So let's say you're a mother or a father of a child, and you decided to, what people regular, forget about the shit you see now, where now it still bothers me. I see people in the military, and I guess it's just whatever. It's just me. I'm just old school, but I see people that got IGs and shit, uniforms and stuff. They post themselves up, and I just want to vomit in my mouth. But somebody who was like, look, man, look, I don't know how to get myself ahead to take care of me and my son or daughter. I'm going to join the military. Now, mind you, that's no guarantee that your ass won't end up deployed into a place to where you can ultimately lose your life. And what they're going to do is, if you're lucky, take a flag and fold that shit up. The same flag that has been kneeled upon, burned, stuff like that by people who don't give a shit. It's like one of those things, like it's good when it's good. But you're going to give your life up for a country because I want to make a better life for my kid. And they tell you that, hey, you have to give up your parental rights. And in some branches like that, Navy and Marines, they don't really grant that waiver. So if you're a single parent, you don't even have that option. Army and Air Force say you got to give up that parental right to somebody, hopefully you trust, to join the military so you can make a better life for your kid. Oh, at the same time, though, it's a possibility that you can end up getting deployed to a place to where you're fighting for a country that and we talked about this before, in a situation that has nothing to do with said country. And that's a whole nother conversation. And then you do your time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, whatever. And then when you get done, get taken through the ringer to do something as basic as, can I get medical coverage?
Yep.
Medical coverage. That's it. The same medical business that will charge you upwards of $25-$40 for a pill,
The condition that you most likely suffered from what you went through.
right. So Veterans Day, man, is always a weird space. I love my brothers and sisters. I see them. I always, if I'm lucky, if I'm in a restaurant or something, I'll find, if I know right offhand, if I'm behind somebody with in uniform, I'm automatically paying for their meals because I know what that sacrifice is. I know there's people who out there go out and game the system. Humans are humans, but for the most part, you put that uniform on. Like my daughter, like I said at the beginning of the show, she came in. She's been in training for 2 years. 2 years. And she's training to go to her first duty station, which in all likelihood, she was probably going to get deployed based on the place she's going to. And it scares the shit out of me. But she has a job that she has learned that I even told her that, hey, you only got 2 more years roughly left on your contract. Decide what you want to do, whether you want to stay in. That's up to you. It's up to you. Or if you want to get out and do government, if you want to do civilian wise and do this, but it's up to you. Just understand that it is all up to you. Don't depend on nobody to pay for nothing. Yeah, once you get your benefits in, you're okay. But I meet a lot of veterans today that have done 20 years in the military that still have to work a full-time job to make ends meet. And I know inflation and stuff like that. But I'll tell you right now, if I spent 20 years and a lot of that time was away from my family, and I'm doing things that I may not even agree with, to get out and say, hey, we're going to give you this certain percentage of your retirement. When you're sending billions of dollars of countries that we ain't got shit to do with, that's a problem to me. For it to be turned into something that's hey, this is a Veterans Day deal. Come get this free 50-inch television. It bothers me. It bothers me. So I want you guys to understand that this weekend, when you're watching the podcast and you listen to us, when you see that homeless veteran, before you turn your eye up, before you decide that they ain't worth it, just think about, yeah, they may have been out there for a minute, but also think about the fact that that person had to choose to wake up, literally wake up and stand on a corner with a sign to ask people for money after put on a uniform. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I don't even have a good transition. Video game corner. Something that, and it's a decent transition. Something that this is kind of a bit of a therapy. And for my guys who play this religiously, October 29th, the acclaimed Call of Duty series turned 20 years old. Do you know that?
Didn't know that.
It turned 20 years old. And that franchise, Activision, of course, Microsoft has purchased Activision, Blizzard.
Turn up a little bit.
Oh, my bad. Activision, Blizzard, and such. They've made over $30 billion. But the Call of Duty franchise has been around for 20 years. I didn't realize that. And I'll say, me being in different places, whether it's Kuwait, Qatar, Germany, stuff like that, the game to play, even though my goddamn motion sickness suffering ass couldn't play it because my guys did. They play Call of Duty, man. Guys, that's all my military friends. Even I talked to my daughter the other day, and she said Call of Duty sucks. I said don't let Uncle Dave hear you say that. But that's what we play, man. They play Call of Duty. It's just escape. Some guys, that's what you do. But 20 years. So we're talking about what, 2003? I have to go back and look. $30 billion for that one franchise. What's your take, man? I know it has gone through different iterations. We even had Vanguard, which was trash. I tried to play it, and it was like, I spent a couple hours with you on one day, and I damn near died trying to, being one in with my guys playing Call of Duty. Fuck it, I just rather just go shoot some. But what you got, man?
Well, y'all already know now, especially if you're avid listeners. I love the Call of Duty franchise, and it actually grew on me. At first I was one of those people sitting back looking in going, man, what is all the all the talk about and stuff like that, because there were so many different things out there also with the Battlefield franchise that was out there. But then they took it to a whole nother level.
Zombies and shit. Yeah.
Just the gameplay of it, and I'm hoping that they keep that within this Modern Warfare 3 that's about to come out later on this week. I've already played a little bit of it. One thing I have heard early is that the campaign is really short, but that really doesn't matter that much to me, because I play the campaign when I first get the game, and once I beat it, then I'm on to everything else I need to do. So for the people that love campaign mode and that storyline mode, while it's fun, if you trust in that, I did hear that this campaign is like only 3 hours of gameplay long, which is very short within the gameplay mode. But we'll see. And I hear that they're introducing zombies in open world, like the Warzone type of breakdown, open map style. So that's something that I'm excited about too. But I will let you know, because after I come back from this trip, I will have it and I will play it before our next episode. So
fair enough, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna leave that to Dave and Earl. I tried to play Call of Duty, but my sensitive ass, I can't. I tried. I played some stuff, but it's cool. But yeah, it's the fact that, man, that game has become such a. I mean, that really makes up Activision. If you really think about it, it makes up that company. Like, it's cross-platform, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. And that the biggest question now is, since Microsoft has acquired it, will they continue to make sure there was cross-platform? I don't think they're stupid enough to do that. But
they would lose a lot of money if they stopped.
They would lose. Man, did y'all not hear me? $30 billion. So it's been around for 20 years. So they made a little over $1 billion per year with this game. That's insane. Since we're in Video Game Corner, and we love our fighting games to a certain extent. And I know you guys know a lot about the what is it? It's the Mario. What's the Mario one they do? The Mario the fighting game for they do that. What's that one called? I forget.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's damn, I don't know why I forget that all of a sudden. But something that apparently rivals that, and I didn't know this, so I gotta check it out. And maybe you have seen it. The Nickelodeon Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers, yeah.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 has come out. And it has got a very high rating. It first came out in 2021. It was a crossover fighting game developed by Lotus Sea and Fair Play Labs. So it was one that included everybody from SpongeBob, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to all of your favorite Nickelodeon characters. And they created this fighting game. And it has dropped. Part 2 has dropped. And oddly enough, and I don't even know what to take away from this, it actually got a 10 out of 10, which was higher than Spider-Man 2 based off of IGN, which I consider them kind of suspect. But I want to check it out just to see. I like these type of crossover fighting games. I like Smash Brothers, but I'm gonna check this out. So it's Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. They're just out now. So we'll see how it goes.
I know we're running long on the episode, but
we're not. Go ahead and do it. Yep, go ahead and do it.
I want to touch on real quick.
Go ahead.
Look, man, you know why I'm wearing it.
Yep.
It's a Marvel week, man.
Yep,
it's going to be a big time. So we talking the season ending episode to Loki. 6 episodes coming up. The 6th one is coming up on Thursday. And then that's going to run you right into the Marvels, which is Captain Marvel's second movie. So I'm here to just have the discussion with you, Sean, on the fact of number one, some of the projections that are out there, as far as it tracking low. And I'm talking about the Marvels in that sense. What are you feeling from the Loki series so far? And then where do you see Marvel taking it as a whole? And then I'll give my opinion on it.
So the first thing out of that is I fear, just based off of how the trailer has panned out for the Marvels, that this film may not be a good one. Based off the fact that because they didn't do a good job. It was a good job of leading into it. And what I mean by that is they have there was trailers that came out for the Marvels. There's been like different type of trailers that came out. But the most recent ones was one of those the majority of the trailers leaned on the Infinity War Endgame aspect to remind people who Captain Marvel was. And they're playing off the emotions of that leading into this the Marvels movie. And it almost feels like, even with that, because if you look at who the big bad is, and it's not even a big bad, who the villain is in this one, it's almost it feels like a throwaway film, that it does not add anything to the MCU. What I feel like it does is, and this is something that has been talked about with Disney overall, and even it even rolls over into ESPN, it serves to kind of quiet the fact that the majority of all of the attention has been given to the male counterparts. Because if you look, the Marvels, all of the three Marvels are all women, and the villain is a woman as well. So it's almost kind of like subservient to that, which to me, that just makes it ingenuous. Like you're just doing something like, hey, we're going to do something to kind of get these people to shut the hell up. We want to be woke, quote unquote, but we're going to give you a subpar film. And that's how I feel. I am going to go see it, but I feel like I am going to be disappointed. I hope I'm not. That's that part. And then as far as Loki aspect, watch the first 5 episodes. 1, 2, 3, I'm up here. 4 and 5 plateaued. We only got 1 episode left. I am hoping and praying that this drops and gives us something to push the MCU forward, because it ties so heavily into that. But the other part of me is like, it's not. It's going to be another one of the ones we gave us something and then it pushed anything forward, and it'll just be another cash grab that fell under Disney, which is something we talked about before. Once this whole Marvel universe made so much money, you talking about $1 billion. Now you're just putting everybody on the face of a lunchbox or a thermos. And that was actually quoted in one of the, oddly enough, shout out to the directors and writers. They actually said this in one of the films. You're just plastering people. And I want to say Iron Man said it, plastering them on the side of a lunchbox or a thermos. They become a Mickey character, and it takes away from the essence of what Marvel is. While on the other hand, you still have the Jonathan Majors thing hanging out there. I'm hoping they push us into what we want to be. If you and I were the co-CEOs or creative directors of this, Marvel would be great, I feel like. But I'm not so sure, man. Like they still are ahead of DC, but they are not as far ahead of DC as they once were before. That's just me.
Okay. So my take is a little different. I'm bias wise, but a little different. Number one, I think they're still way past DC. I do want to throw that out there. because I truly don't think DC knows where they're going at all. I think Marvel knows where they want to be. They are having a little trouble through this phase of getting to where they want to be.
Mhm.
So I think that's the real difference in between it. I don't think DC had anything like the Infinity Gauntlet series, anything even
Nah.
close to that. So
Nah.
I don't think they're on any of that level. Put it this way: Marvel's worst is in DC's timeline. Put it that way. So that's why I say they're not even on the same level. Let me go in order. Let's go Loki first, since that's coming up first. Loki, I'm actually very happy with. I told you I'm an analyzer, and I love things that honestly I could rewatch it 5, 6, maybe 7 different times. I'm talking about each episode and catch something different because there's so much that is going on. I think unlike what was the one that just passed the series? Secret Invasion. I think they are gonna nail this ending because I already have a feeling, and we discussed this offline, of where I think this may steer to. And if it does, wow, I'm talking about mind blowing. I hope everything happens okay with this Jonathan Majors thing. Because from what I'm hearing, they're already making their plan B, and that plan B has been something that honestly was going to be plan A.
Right.
But Jonathan Majors performed so well that they said, okay, we can shelve this plan A and just make this the ultimate villain of this. But if they can't have him in there, they might go with what was originally plan A. And if you've seen my breakdown through episodes, you know who that is. And you know who ties directly into Secret Wars. The only thing is, will they give him enough screen time to really be introduced in the right way? So that's my only fear on that. The Marvels. The only reason I don't have the same take as you on this is because I don't expect nothing from it. So I can only be disappointed from something that I expect something from. For example, I was disappointed when I saw Doctor Strange in the multiverse.
Right.
I was disappointed a little bit when I saw the Ant-Man breakdown because I was looking so much forward into Kang in that storyline. I'm not really looking forward to anything in the Marvels. I'm just honestly gonna sit back and watch it. Kind of the same way I watched Shazam.
Yeah.
The second part of it. So while some people walked out of Shazam feeling disappointed, I was like, it was an okay movie to me. Because it honestly was to me. A little bit more on the family childish side, but it was an okay movie to me. Now, this is the thing. I know Disney's scared. I know they didn't want to shelf this one, but I know Disney is scared because Disney. Now, when it's Disney and Sony, like Spider-Man, sometimes it messes up because Sony has some of the rights to do what they want.
Right.
But Disney hardly ever messes up with their trailers. They have put out so much in these trailers. It's like they're trying to grab you like, nah, look what we gonna do. Look. Did you not see? This is what's gonna happen in the movie. You gotta come see it. Well, shit, let's open this up. Do you see? We're going into this world. Don't you see? We're about to introduce it. It's coming in.
Here's Samuel L. Jackson. I'm like,
yeah. If you have caught the very final trailer that just came out, I'm not even gonna do spoiler warning. Just go check out the final trailer. And there's someone that's walking past Monica Rambeau towards the end of it. And I believe I know who that someone is. And it's something that I've always knocked DC on with their trailers. I'm like, I didn't want to see that part.
Right.
If that is what I think it is, I did not want to see that part because I'm a true fan. I'm going to come see it anyway. I know you're trying to grab these other people out there. Throw that trailer out after the movie's been out for 1 to 2 weeks to go
Exactly.
grab those fans
Exactly.
that are not out there. I'm going to come see it regardless. I didn't need to see that. It's like the DC thing when you already knew certain characters that were going to be in like the Flash movie and stuff like that. You knew it. I didn't want to see Michael Keaton's character. Let me speculate. I didn't want to see it. I think I know who that character is going to be at the end. I'll let y'all have your own guessing ways on it. And I kind of know something that is definitely going to be introduced. But yeah, I could just see them pulling at the strings. So where is Disney and Marvel going? Where do I feel? I am excited because I told you the reason why I can't bring my excitement down is because we still got Deadpool 3 coming.
Tracks.
And my God,
Facts.
you want to talk about something that I'm so amped up for? I don't care if it's a year, 2, 3 from now. I'm ready. Also, that was announced today, finally. At least I know this is steering in the right direction. They went and got the I want to say the Punisher or the Daredevil director to direct Blade finally. And they just put out today, it was announced that it will be a rated R film. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Marvel. That is going in the right direction. And I know if it's not going in the right direction, guess who ain't going to be Blade? Mahershala Ali, because he already let you know he'll walk off set. So I'll just pay attention to his movement. The next thing on where Marvel's going, which I'm excited about. Listen, another thing that just shocked the shit out of me. I wasn't thinking nothing for Echo series coming up. But if y'all have not seen that trailer, my God, it is going to be the first mature in their mature series mode of the new Marvel Disney venture for series. And if they get this storyline right between Kingpin and Echo, I'm there for it.
To add to that, they actually said that they actually put out that this is the first series that you do not have to watch anything from the previous MCU space. So you can dive right into this. So you don't have to watch all the backstory. So you can walk right into it. So yeah, so I like that aspect of it.
And it's all introduced at one time. You don't have to wait week to week. It's going to just drop in January. So these are some things that have got me up here. The Marvels aren't any piece of that. So I'm just going to go see the movie. But when we're talking Deadpool 3 and Hugh Jackman being in there, when we're talking about that Echo trail and the way that got broken down and what you just explained, when we talk about the Fantastic Four, you know, when we talk about the X-Men finally coming, there's so many ways that they can still go that still get me going. And that's why, you know, I'm like, hey, Kevin Feige, just rein it in. I don't need an episode after an episode after an episode after an episode as far as different people being introduced. Trim that down, take your time, and let's get the Secret Wars the right way. So that's my take on it.
And he said everything though. I you know, DC doesn't have anything as elaborate as that, but I will say this. I saw a rumor, and this is why I'm also wearing a Batman hat outside of it being the veteran colors. Of course, I am eagerly anticipating the Batman 2, which has a rough date of dropping 2 years from now. Actually, it's like 2025. But a rumor that came up about a couple weeks ago, literally about a couple of weeks ago, that if you guys have never read the Batman Hush series, Hush is rumored to be a character in that film. And when I first saw it before, they were talking about Clayface. But if you go back, I'll leave it to you guys. Go read the Batman Hush comic. If they're able to put that, or if that is going to be the storyline, just take my goddamn money. Just take all outside of the Joker. That series itself is one that sign me up for that today.
Please release the Penguin series too.
That's coming as well. That is coming as well. That the Penguin series is coming. I forget the date, but that is coming I want to say that's coming after the new year, which
That
looks
side of
pretty damn dope.
DC, I'm all for. Just
Yeah.
keep that away from the rest of the shit.
Actually, I want them to turn DC. Let's turn it into Batman. Let's forget everything else. Give me Batman because they can't get nothing else right. But between the Penguin series, the new Batman 2, the Joker 2 that's going now, and then potentially the rumoring that having the Hush character being in there, I'm all in. I'm gonna ride this thing out.
Release the new Telltale video game.
Yes, I love that. Yes, I know we kept you long, guys. That's where we are. That's where we are. This is a Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, the storyteller. Episode 130, viral infection. Hopefully we go viral off of this.
Hey,
Whatever,
man.
Yeah, you can lie, man. So of course, man, you guys tapping in with us for the first time, perhaps. If not, you know what it is. So make sure you guys go ahead and visit the link in the show notes, man. And if you guys are doing any of the, we got the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving and such and everything. And if you need that last minute thing for your holiday meal, perhaps, go ahead and get free delivery on your first order of $35 or more with Instacart to let them, you let them know the Hot Seat Podcast sent you. Get that free order delivery. You need that cranberry sauce, somebody, potato salad, macaroni and cheese. Keith Lee told you it ain't good. So go ahead and do your own thing.
Good plug.
I'll just say, man. Of course, man, you guys can also join us on the serious note, though. Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for the Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk, streaming live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Again, that's 9:30 a.m. Sunday. This is week 10 coming up. I think your boy came out on top. I think I only had one loss all week. I think I might make it back to 500. I'm not even sure. I guess, man. Anything else, man? Anything else we got for tonight, man?
Just signing off, the storyteller. I will say this. Lauryn Hill, I love you. But don't sit there out there and tell your crowd after you are hours late talk about you should just be glad that I made it here. Is that where we at now? This the viral take that we're taking now?
Yeah.
Just be happy that I showed up. Miseducation is right.
Yeah. That's all we got.
The Hot Seed.